Hello, and thank you for joining us once again. My name is Erica Swearingen Blankensee, and I'm the president of the Frances Ellen Watkins Harper Collaborative Club. Thank you so much for tuning in to our first annual Holidays in Black reading series event. With us today, we have Ms. Debra Spruill. Thank you so much for coming.
Thank you for having me.
It's always a pleasure. So, let's learn a little bit about Ms. Spruill. She currently works for a hospital system in information technology, supporting doctors in their population health compliance. In other words, she's assuring that patients with chronic conditions are monitored to improve their long-term health. Furthermore, she lives in Newark with her two small shelter dogs, Tina Turner and Charlie Parker. How cute are those names? From that, I know that you can tell that she loves music. She's also an avid reader. She's a charter member and current secretary of the Bibliophiles Incorporated, an African American reading group. By the way, it's also the longest continuing Black book club.
That is correct.
She also knits and gardens, growing vegetables and flowers. She holds a master's in library and information science. She also grew up to assist the great institutions of libraries and librarians in the purpose of information sharing through books and electronic media. The book she selected, I Promise by LeBron James, is geared for preschool to third grade students. This book is dedicated to inspiring young people to strive for greatness, inspired by his foundation, I Promise program. The beautiful illustrations are by Nina Mata and assist in making the story of self-development for such a young audience meaningful. Thank you again, Ms. Spruill. We're so happy to have you.
Thank you. I am so excited to be a part of this program.
So, we want to know something else about you. What's your favorite book?
You know, picking a favorite book is like asking a mother to pick their favorite child. But I'm going to try. So right now, at this time in space, one of my favorite books is The Great Migration by Isabel Wilkerson. Why? Because it tells a story that I think needs to be in school now. We all need to be learning this story. We all need to know how many of our families came north or west or whichever way we went, because there was a reason for it. It was not a willy-nilly kind of thing. It was purposely driven. There were stories that they didn't necessarily share with us, but are rich with our histories in what we call the South.
Oh, absolutely.
My other favorite book is Standing at the Scratch Line.
Oh, that's a classic.
It is. We're trying to get it made into a series. We want it on Netflix.
That would be amazing. I definitely would.
It would. I'm so glad you know it. Because a lot of people don't know Guy Johnson. Oh, I love that book. Did you read the follow-up?
I want to say yes, but it's been so long since I read them. When I read them, they were already, older books.
Established, yeah.
Yeah. So, yeah. It was one of those books that my mom actually made me read.
Oh, okay. Good for her. Good for her.
Yes, she made me read a lot of books. And my favorite story is actually Native Son, and how I got to read that by Richard Wright. That is my all-time favorite book.
Okay,
and
okay.
My mom had actually paid me $50 to read the book. Yes.
That's not bad to read a book that you end up loving and get money for it. Not a bad.
Right, but I mean, you should have saw what she did to get me to read that book. I mean, money was like the final motivator, but I read it in one night. And I was just like, oh my gosh, it was so amazing. This was, so impactful. And I want to say either a preteen or I was just.
I was going to say if you're in the teen,
it was life altering, and it was just amazing. She did the same thing with B.B. Moore Campbell, What You Owe Me. Because I was like,
Okay.
there's no way I'm going to get through a book that's like this
That's
thick.
it.
2 days.
No problem.
No problem at all. So she knew as long as the book was good, that Erica was going to be involved.
Yeah.
But I even offered, I just want to note, so she knows this from by this video, I did offer to give her the $50 back for the ritual. I did, because I enjoyed it that much. But she let me keep it. But
that's funny.
It was amazing. So
yeah.
I'm going to let you tell our audience why you believe literacy is important.
Well, I grew up in a very rural, we called it country environment in New Jersey. So let me qualify. I was in New Jersey, but I was brought up in central Jersey, and it was country. We did not have a lot of entertainment. If I wanted to go to the movies, I had to go to Keyport, which is like 2 towns over. So reading was my way of exploring. It was my way of getting outside of Little Morganville, New Jersey, and really experiencing what was going on in the world. One of my favorite reading books was the Reader's Digest condensed version. Because in one book, you could get like 4 stories. Mm-hmm. So to me, they were like, it was a treasure. So literacy is an eye-opener. It is a way for you to determine your own fate. Mm-hmm. It is a way for you to learn about things that you may never visit physically. And again, it wasn't the world of the internet, so I didn't have these mechanisms to take me outside of my physical space. But I learned that there were parts of the world I wanted to see. I learned that there were peoples and places I wanted to go. I learned about animals. My family was, you know, classic family, big on education. So we would watch anything about animals. We would have, somehow we got copies of National Geographic. Now, we did not subscribe to it. I don't know where it came from. My folks were nurses, so maybe they picked it up at the doctor's office. I don't know. So this was a way to see animals and places in South America, on the continent of Africa, in Asia. It was like, whoa, because you realize how different people are around the world, you know? And it was like, what? And, you know, I remember Mama would always say, like, if I didn't want to finish something, there are people starving in Africa. And so one day I decided I'd get cute. And I said, well, why don't you invite them over? And yeah, I got punished for that.
I can imagine.
Yeah, that was.
I have cute as well.
Yeah. But it let me know that there were these other places and everybody didn't live like us. Everybody didn't have school like we had. So literacy was a way out. And another thing I learned, and I learned this when I worked in the unemployment office. I actually worked there over the summers. That the first time I realized people couldn't read, adults, and they put an X. And some of them I knew because they came, you know, they worked in the factories in Perth Amboy or whatever, and they would get, you know, they'd have these layoff periods in the summertime when they didn't need to produce air conditioners or whatever it was, fetters or the auto plant. Mm-hmm. And I remember one of our neighbors, and he wrote an X, and I was like, I said, Mama, I think Mr. So-and-so can't read. She said, well, no, baby, he probably can't. You know, his family was poor. They came up here and he went to work and he's making a good living. I said, but he can't read. You know, I was like, I couldn't conceive of it. And
things we take for granted.
Yeah. I mean, I can even remember, I don't know how old I was, but I can remember recognizing when I could read, when I could look at something and I drove people crazy. What's that? What's that? Say that word. You know, I drove people crazy because I learned to put letters together and could read, you know. And so
that's one of the things that we want to stress with our parents that are watching the program with their children is that, feed into their curiosity. Just because they're being inquisitive, answer those questions. Play the word games. How many words can you come up that start with a C?
Yes,
Really encourage them to build their
yes,
vocabulary.
yes.
And
Take a big word and say, how many words can you make out of this word?
absolutely.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
those are the things that we really, really want to stress. Mainly because I'm not sure if you know anything about Frances Ellen Watkins Harper, but she was born free. However, she worked for a white couple who owned a bookstore in
Ah,
Baltimore, Maryland. And
oh,
when she had downtime from working in their home, she would go to the bookstore and pick out books and read and what have you. And
good
she
for
soon
her.
became a teacher then after. So, when you start thinking about literacy and the part that plays it plays a big role. Being able to read, write, and to understand, it changes everything in your life.
Everything, 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 you know.
Well, we're so happy to have you. I'm going to let you start reading, and thank you so much for being here.
Thank you again. It really is my pleasure. And I'm going to say that I'm going to add this. This is one of my new favorite books now, I Promise, by LeBron James. And I hope that the kids understand why. Good evening. I am Debra Spruill, and I have the pleasure of reading a wonderful book by LeBron James called I Promise. Now, I don't know how many of you know who LeBron James is, but he's one of the greatest basketball players that has ever lived. His team won the national championship last year, and he's just a wonderful person. And he wrote this book. He has a school in Ohio. I'm going to show you a picture of LeBron James and his daughter. Don't they look like they're having a good time? So I'm going to share with you his book called I Promise. And you see these beautiful illustrations, this beautiful artwork. It was done by an artist named Nina Mata, and you're going to enjoy it. So here we go. LeBron James's I Promise. So think about what a promise is as we're reading this, because a promise is a commitment. A promise is what you say to someone when you're telling them that you're going to do this no matter what. You promise. That's your word. When you give your word, you are telling someone that they can trust you to do what you said you were going to do. So let's talk about promises. So here we are. You see this picture of children in front of a bus? It looks like they're getting off a bus. And the book starts off by saying, I promise to work hard and to do what's right, to be a leader in the game of life. So let's go. I promise to go to school and read as much as I can. So here they are sitting there. Look at their eyes. They're really enjoying reading. To follow the rules and respect the game plan. So see, you see them raising their hands because they're following the rules. Because when you're in school and you want to speak, you don't just speak out. You raise your hand and get permission. So they're following the rules and respecting the game plan. What's the next promise? I promise to run full court and show up each time. So here you see feet, you see legs, and they're playing soccer, or also called football. And they're running and running. And over here it says, to get right back up and let my magic shine. So here you see the little girl, she fell down jumping double dutch, but that didn't stop her. She got back up and she's letting her magic shine. She is enjoying jumping rope. Another promise. I promise to be open and try new things. You see him standing on the edge of the diving board? He's wondering, shall I jump? And in he goes, he jumps in, he says, and enjoy the happy that change can bring. So he jumped in, he took a chance, and he's enjoying himself. Next, I promise to wear a big smile and use kindness when I speak. It's very important to be kind and when you're talking to people. Appreciate them for who they are. To remain strong yet humble with every win and defeat. Now, why do you think that is? Now, LeBron, like I said, he's a basketball player. He hasn't won everything. He's won a lot, but you don't win everything. So you have to be able to win proudly, and when you lose, to say, you know, I did my best and I'll get it the next time. So to remain strong yet humble with every win and defeat. This is a big one. I promise to ask for help whenever I need it. That is a very big thing. You're a very big person when you can say, would you help me with this, please? I don't think I'm doing this one right. So here's someone asking for help and getting it. To reach for my star even when I can't see it. Always be reaching high. Always be reaching high. Promise to ask questions and find the answers. So here she is sitting here trying to figure out something, and then down at the bottom, she's working it out. She's figuring the answers out. And then to believe in next time and second chances. So here, look at her eyes. She got an A on her grade. So she worked hard and earned an A from her teacher. I promise to use my voice and stand up for what's right. And when things get tough, to keep up the fight. This is something that you learn in life, that when you see something that's right, then you stand proud with it. If you see something that's wrong, you stand proud and say what should be, what is right. And you see their smiling faces as they're saying what is right. I promise to stand tall, rise up, and give all that I've got. Now you see, to throw the alley-oop and uplift others on the spot. So one of the things you learn in life is that you can't do everything. You need help. And when you're on a team, the whole idea of a team is to help each other out. So here he is, and he's throwing the basketball to the other player, number 23, and here's 23, and up he goes, and he gets the basket. So the team gets the points. They all win. I promise to respect my elders and peers the same, to leave new places better than I came. So you know what an elder is? That's someone who's older than you. That's your mom, your dad, your grandparents, your aunties and uncles, your teachers, your librarians. Those are your elders, older brothers and sisters. And to leave places better than I came. So here's someone who was throwing away a bottle in the recycling bin, leaving the place better than when she came. Very important. I promise to stay true, keep my head up, and never give up, no matter what. I promise to dream big and love bigger, to be a team player and a winner. Because when you play as a team, you're going to win. And here, let's find a team in here. This is a team. Look at that. He's riding the bike and she's on the back getting a ride. And then they're all riding together. They're riding like a team. I promise to cross bridges and break down walls, to rise with the sun and learn from the falls. So here we are crossing a bridge, she with her hands, he on his feet, and somebody took a fall. But you learn from your falls. What do you learn? Well, it all depends on what you were doing. Maybe you didn't have both hands up on the bar. Maybe you swung too far, but you learn from that because when you fall, you have a chance to learn. And she's getting help. Now let's turn the page and see what's next. I promise to be courageous, to be free, to strive for greatness. So what's courageousness? To be courageous is to be brave, to be free, to strive for greatness. Now look at them, they're going up a hill. If you climb up a hill, that takes extra work. So they're being very brave, and look, they're helping each other, pulling up the hill. And here's somebody who reached the top. So finally, the conclusion is, I promise to be me. Look at all the happy faces. They're all achieving their promises. Now, LeBron James has one more page in here, and he wants everybody to remember these. This is the big list of promises. I promise to go to school, to do all of my homework, to listen to my teachers because they will help me learn. I promise to ask questions and find the answers. I promise to never give up, no matter what. I promise to always try my best. You try your best, no one can ask more of you. That is the best you can do. I promise to be helpful and respectful to others. I promise to live a healthy life by eating right and being active. To get outside and play and run, that's being active. I promise to make good choices for myself. I promise to have fun, and above all else, I promise to finish school. Go as far as you can. Go to high school, graduate, go on to college, graduate, get another degree after that, graduate. And all of this is so that you can stand and say, we are family. We all promise together. We all learn together. I hope you enjoyed LeBron James's book. I promise. I enjoyed reading it to you. Thank you.